I am proud to tell you that Marion County's 2015 Teacher of the Year is Bethany Crawford from Forest High School.
With that, our Silver Celebration Marion County Teacher of the Year was crowned at the 25th Annual Golden Apple Gala. Hello and welcome to the Classroom Connection, a very special edition of our program today. It's the show that takes you inside Marion County Public Schools. I'm your host, Kevin Christian, and this month we are all about the honorees, from Golden Apple teachers to the Rookie Teacher of the Year, as well as our school-related Employee of the Year. Let's kick it all off by introducing you to our latest Teacher of the Year, Bethany Crawford.
Sometimes being a product of the system is a negative, but not when you're talking about 2015 Marion County Teacher of the Year, Bethany Crawford.
To me, I think that's one of the coolest parts, that I am a product of Marion County Public Schools. I'm extraordinarily proud of the fact that I graduated from North Marion. When I went to North Marion, there was a select group of us that knew we wanted to go to college, but at the north end of the county, you really have a lot of students who face real challenges of poverty, and it was so cool to be able to come back and teach there and show them that even if you go to schools that maybe you don't have a high rate of kids going to college, you can absolutely still follow your dreams.
She's not the first Golden Apple winner in the family. 4 years ago, her husband John was surprised with an apple of his own. This time, he was a part of the surprise.
It was more exciting, I think, than when I got a golden apple, because I got to be there for her and I know all the work that she puts in, and then to be able to have the opportunity to then, come in and help be part of that presentation, it was just amazing.
Not only was he there, but Mr. Greger was there, and Mr. Greger is very special to me. He was my vice principal when I was in high school.
Being married to a Golden Apple winner wasn't necessarily an advantage.
He was not my mentor, and that's probably good because we're very competitive with one another. I wrote everything for the portfolio myself, and then I had him proofread it just to see what he thought, to give his suggestions. For the interview process, I said to him that I didn't want to really know anything because interviewing usually frightens me. So I said I kind of wanted to just go in there and do it. Once I won the apple, though, that is when I started asking him lots of questions as far as who's going to be my mentor teacher, what is it like to be in the Golden Apple Academy, what is going to happen that night.
As a member of the Academy, John was on hand that night to help teachers across the stage at the Golden Apple Gala and greet the newest Teacher of the Year.
I've seen over the past years how dedicated Beth is, and I knew that I was awarded a golden apple. I knew that she's a better teacher than I am, and so I felt that she's absolutely deserving of this.
And I think it makes it easy, actually, that we both teach because we both understand when we
understand the struggles of grading till 2 in the morning or waking up at 4 a.m. to get some things done, because that's our life, covering for each other and helping each other out.
And to my husband, I love you so much. Thank you for supporting me.
It may be all lovey-dovey and supportive right now, but don't think for a second bragging rights aren't important.
There was an element of competition for me because I knew he had an apple. I knew my principal had an apple. I felt like, I work really hard and I want to kind of do this for the kids. I want to show them that, yep, I'm just as good as Mr. Crawford. You might be going from his class to my class back to his class, but, I'm going to kick his butt.
So now I have to win another apple and become Teacher of the Year to get even with her.
I did tell my vice principal I won.
Congratulations again to Bethany Crawford, who now moves on to represent Marion County in the State Teacher of the Year competition. Crawford was just one of 6 teachers surprised a few weeks ago by the Golden Apple Caravan. Now here's a look at the reactions of those other winning teachers.
Congratulations, you're our Rookie Teacher of the Year. Big deal. There you go.
Best teacher in the world!
Is that good enough?
I can go loud.
Let's try one more.
Mrs. Crawford, good morning. Whoa, now stop that. Congratulations, you're one of our 5 Golden Apple Teachers of the Year. How about that? Congratulations. We got somebody special here for you also.
Oh my goodness.
We're looking at
Mrs. Etts, how are you today?
I am good.
Stand up and let me congratulate you. You're one of our Golden Apple finalists.
Thank you.
Mrs. Etts is one of our top 5 teachers in all of Marion County, and we are proud of her just as you are very, very proud of her.
I'm sure.
Congratulations.
Good morning, Ms. Lazar.
Morning.
I know that Mrs. Lazar is the reading coach here, and she's not your normal teacher, but I'm sure she's doing a great activity. Mrs. Lazar is one of the 5 top teachers in all of Marion County Public Schools this year. Good morning, Mr. Molock.
Yes.
How are you today?
We did it, guys.
Congratulations. You're one of our Golden Apple finalists.
Thank you so much. Come on around, guys. We did it. We did it. We did it. Come on.
Congratulations.
Come check it out. Heavy, right? Look, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Miss Shaheed, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Congratulations. You're one of our top 5 Golden Apple teachers. Yes, we have quite an entourage.
Wonderful. There you go.
Thank you so much.
Tell me, is she a little surprised today?
The 25th year was a unique one for the Golden Apple program. Not only did we crown just the 2nd husband and wife duo ever, we also had the first second-generation winner at Howard Middle School. Here now is a look at the other 4 Golden Apple winners.
Aisha Shaheed is the personification of the apple not falling far from the tree, joining her mother Vera as the only mother and daughter to earn golden apples.
Wow.
Overwhelmed. I guess we made history.
It's for Marion County.
I'm honored, and for me, it's definitely an honor because I feel like I'm following in her footsteps. I remember being at the gala and cheering her on in the audience, and now that she has that same opportunity to do that for me, I think it's pretty neat. So
I do too. Undescribable. Can't believe it.
Not bad for somebody who swore they'd never become a teacher.
She used to tell me that I'll never be a teacher, and we have to be careful when we say I never. And she used to laugh at me and says, "Who does this? Who sits up at night and constantly writing things down?" Then one day she came and told me, she says, "Mom, I think I found what I want to do. I can't believe this." She says, "I found my niche." And she said, "I have all these things in my head, and I'm constantly thinking of ideas." I said, "Really? And who does that?"
And I really didn't. I started off in the medical field. I did, and I never imagined, and it was always a common discussion. My aunt, who's a teacher, my uncle, who's also a teacher, so it's an educational conversation every single day, and I'm just sitting there like, nah, never. My first year, it almost surprised me because I'm like, I really love this, and I was afraid to tell her because I had always said, no, I'm never going to do it, but I love it, and I know it has to some kind of way just run through the blood because a lot of those ideas that I watched her do over the years, I find myself doing the same thing.
One's attitude determines one's altitude, which is my class motto. That banner, I had it for 35 years and I passed it to her. And I tried to instill that in her daily.
I want to pass that to my students, and when they come in my class, that's the same approach. You don't have to be a stellar math student, but your attitude, are you trying? Are you putting forth that effort? That's going to determine how far you go. To me, that's what that model, that quote, that banner represents for me.
Becoming a golden apple can be a bit overwhelming, Fortunately, Shaheed had not only a roadmap, but also a guide.
I'm so thankful that she gave me the ease and the comfort to know just enjoy the process, and she gave me a lot of suggestions, and it is a long process. It is quite a long process, but she gave me the reassurance to know just take your time, just do what you do normally, have fun, enjoy it.
The only thing I told her to do is do what she does best. Be yourself. Teach. When you speak, speak from the heart. When you in that classroom, show what you know. And enjoy. I told her, enjoy the ride. It's a beautiful journey.
For Christina Etts, being presented with a golden apple was kind of like pulling the cover off a classic car that's been kept in storage for years.
I was very nervous. It was very exciting. My kids were very excited in the classroom, and it was very unexpected, so I didn't know what to do with myself.
There's a saying that great players make great coaches, and the Vanguard High graduate believes the same idea applies to the classroom. Teachers may be presented the golden apple, but they aren't really the ones who earn it.
I think it's the students. The students, they want to do well. They push themselves to be the best that they can be, and if they don't do well at something, they try to figure out how to get better at it. They either come to me or they get help from other students or even volunteers. I think along with all the other Marion County teachers, we just do phenomenal jobs and go above and beyond what's expected in our classroom, and and the student scores and are proof of that, and just how much I love my class, I guess.
A quick glance around her classroom shows her affinity for classic cars. So it's no real surprise she's into machines that move, sponsoring the school's Lego robotics teams.
I have two teams at Dr. N.H. Jones that I train, and we go to competitions at Forest High School and other places in the state. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hours, and then you went from 05 to 48. When you subtract 48 minus 5, you get 43. Perfect. Yes, you got it right. Good job. I just really enjoy doing what I do right now, and the kids are wonderful, and they just make every day a blessing. Every time I come in, I enjoy coming to work every day. Okay, the mean, okay.
Dwayne Molock pulls double duty as a real flesh and blood teacher at Greenway Elementary and also as a virtual teacher with Marion Virtual.
In a virtual classroom, what happens at the beginning of every week, the teachers send out a pacing guide, which allows the students and the parents to know exactly where they should be. At that point, the students will work through their pacing guide, and they will email and work through our Moodle system and submit their assignments. We have 1 day per week from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. where the students are allowed to come in, and they meet with me, and we work on enrichment goals for students that are ahead. We're doing tutoring for students that are behind, and it's also a social time where my students are allowed to learn how to play tennis or draw and do many different things that they couldn't do as just a traditional homeschool student.
Virtual school brings to mind isolation and a lack of social interaction, but Molock tries to make sure that doesn't happen with his students.
It's very important that the students as a whole come into a classroom and realize that they're not alone. We like to really bring our students together as much as possible. We have parties for our students. It's a lot more like a regular classroom than some people may feel, because they're just working on their classwork at home. But if they need help, they can see a teacher. If they want enrichment, they can see a teacher. So it really just provides the maximum amount of flexibility.
While the 3rd and 4th graders in Molock's virtual classroom do things in the physical world, the 1st graders in his physical classroom at Greenway do a lot in the virtual world.
Our classroom is a little bit different in the fact that we are a 1st grade academy class. Our students in the academy class are considered bubble students in kindergarten, so we give them extra attention. We have a full-time assistant, we have extra iPads and computers where we're catching them up, and by the end of 2nd grade, when they transition into 3rd grade, we would expect them to be on grade level or higher. The students absolutely love the iPads because in the morning, the students are allowed to choose any math app that they feel like they need help in, and then in the afternoon they're working through reading app. So if they felt personally that they needed more help on sight words, they could work on sight words. If they wanted more books read to them, they could choose an app for that. If they wanted to read or have record themselves reading, there's an app for that.
I guess it's true. There's an app for everything, and a golden apple for him and his students.
We did it, guys!
Congratulations! You are golden apple finalists.
Thank you so much. Come on around, guys. We did it. We did it. We did it. Come on. I said, class, we did it because I could not have won this award without them. I need their behavior. I need their focus. I need their interest in what we're learning each and every day when we have our surprise visits as well as a regular classroom learning day. Without their cooperation, it's not possible for a teacher to become a Golden Apple recipient.
Evergreen Elementary's Beth Lazar never expected to win a golden apple. After all, a reading coach isn't what you normally think of when you think of a teacher.
I kept asking everyone, are you sure a reading coach is eligible for this? And even at the orientation meeting, David, Steffi, and I laughed. We're like, we'll give it a try, you know. And then from there, I made it to the interview round and had to change all my interview questions to the perspective of a reading coach. And then to the observation round, and again, they can show up anytime in January, so I just gave them a brief outline of what my day is, which is supervising our reading intervention groups and then modeling and coaching teachers. So they saw a little bit of all of that when they came, and so I truly never imagined that I would ever get a golden apple. I thought my days, I was outside of having my own classroom, but it was a huge honor.
Lazar doesn't work directly with one classroom of students like a normal elementary teacher does. Instead, she impacts all the students on campus by helping make the individual classroom teachers better.
Reading coaches and academic coaches in general are what we call full-time staff developers. So my job is to be a teacher for my teachers. So I still teach, but it takes on a slightly different angle. I work with the teachers to help hone their teaching strategies and skills. I feel that I do still get to influence student learning, just not my own little bunch of darlings.
When she was a science teacher, you could find Lazar in a classroom. Now, her home is a resource room. And with 73% of Evergreen staff new and 21 in their very first year in the classroom, she's a good resource to have around.
We have about 21 first-year teachers on campus here, and I've sort of been their mama duck. They're all my little ducklings. So that's sort of become my passion is the new educator support. But I'll tell you, having we call them our newbies, having them on campus gives such an energy. They want to learn. They want to see the best that they can give their students, and they have amazing ideas. And the beauty of my job, too, is I get to see all of the teachers in the school, and when I see someone doing something amazing, I'm able to take what they've done in their room and share it with the other teachers. Teaching is always changing. There's always a new strategy. There's something that we think will be better for our students. And so it's my goal to make sure my teachers have all the resources and all the latest strategies to share with their children.
Lazar wowed the judges despite not being in a classroom and working at the district's lowest performing school.
Well, I made sure that they understood my passion for education and for Evergreen especially. You know, like you said, on paper we might not look that great, but when you step on this campus, it's palpable, the excitement that's here, and how hard our teachers are working. And so each step of the way I've pictured the faces of my teachers and their students, wanting to show them in the best light. It's our year, it's our time. You know, it's Evergreen's has a history, but we're trying our hardest to give it a future.
Things must be looking up these days because for the first time ever, one school produced not one but two honorees, as Evergreen Elementary is home to not only Beth Lazar, a Golden Apple winner this year, but also Matthew Binkley, our 2015 Rookie Teacher of the Year. The former broadcasting student was chosen as the top teacher in Marion County with just 3 years or less experience in the classroom.
When I was in college, I started getting the idea that at some point I wanted to teach after my career in journalism was over. And, you know, I did all these great things. I was doing this and that. I was covering the Gators, and I'm interviewing Billy Donovan. And when I asked Urban Meyer's first question, I'm thinking to myself, oh, please don't end up on TV as one of those dumb questions, and him making fun of the idiot journalist, and they responded great, and I had all of this going for me, and one day my senior semester I woke up and it was gone. This drive I had had for 8 years was gone. I didn't want to do it anymore.
With his career in journalism over before it really started, Matthew Binkley went to his fallback plan and became a teacher.
I taught kindergarten my first year. I ended up loving those kids so much, I looped up to first grade. So I took that class with me to first grade. I have aspirations to move up into administration and things like that, and I love challenges. So how I can grow my career is I got to improve myself. You know, teaching kindergarten first grade is very wrongly perceived as being easy, when it's actually harder than 5th grade. But I had to prove myself with the different amount of assignments, the testing that goes on, and the data and all this other stuff.
5th grade turned out to be a little tougher than he expected, though.
They were not that well behaved at the beginning of the year. I was out with my wisdom tooth being taken out the second week of school. I had 3 different substitutes. There's 3 different days because they didn't want to come back into the room. That's how rough this group was.
Part of that stems from the perception of Evergreen and its students as perennial underperformers.
There have been a lot of times where it's a negative atmosphere, and it's not necessarily the fault of the teachers. It's not necessarily the fault of the students. It's just what has been created here kind of permeates as the years go on. And by the time they get to 5th grade, it's sunk in. 5th graders at this school do not believe in themselves. They need confidence. They need to believe in themselves. And that was my first mission, was to come in here and get them believing in themselves. And so my confidence spread to them. And I have students who have never wanted to try before, believing in themselves. I mean, I have it around here, you know, can you make mistakes and then fix them, and believe in yourself. Let's change the culture of the classroom. Let's be positive. I mean, I play their favorite music. We play music, and while they're working, if they're standing up while they're working, I don't care. You're learning, right?
The award may be Rookie Teacher of the Year, but Binkley says it's just as much Rookie Classroom of the Year.
I said, this is as much you as it is me, because I cannot do what we do without their cooperation. And so it was a shock, but then as it settled in, it was a very proud moment because of how far we have come.
Binkley has plans to move on to administration, much like 2005 Rookie Teacher of the Year Gay Street did. Now she is the principal at Denellen Elementary School. And someone else who may follow in those same earlier footsteps is none other than Brianna Hosey. You see, before Street became a teacher, she was the secretary at Anthony Elementary School. Hosey, the receptionist at Ward Highlands Elementary and our 2015 School-Related Employee of the Year, has dreams of her own to become a classroom teacher.
I knew that she was somebody that loved kids, somebody that you want just having that front office appearance, somebody that's positive, somebody that can answer those phone calls and try to get the parents calmed down if they're a little upset. It's always a revolving door. It's a very busy job as a receptionist. She would really have that smile on her face, and they would be put at ease right away.
A typical day is I come in here in the morning and you have to go through the voicemails. Then it's dealing with the parents coming in, and they're yelling at you sometimes, especially when they're not happy about something.
Saying Brianna Hosey is just a receptionist is like saying Jaws is just a fish.
She takes care of our school monthly newsletter. She helps me get the agenda ready for our monthly SAC meetings.
I copy and I laminate for the teachers, so I'm doing paperwork all day. Signing in parents to volunteer, signing in visitors.
She's our backup clinic assistant. That's not an easy thing to take on. It is finding somebody that Nurse Tammy will let stay in her clinic as her replacement, because we have a lot of high need, special need kids here.
I go in classrooms if teachers need bathroom breaks or anything. There's some days I have to do lunch duty, breakfast duty.
And did I mention she started just a few months out of high school?
So here's some Good morning, Ward Highlands. How may I help you?
Brianna, of course, being so young when she started, she did have to win a few of them over, but she won them over because she's so consistent with what she does. She does it with a smile. She keeps her promises. If she says she's going to help them out and do something for them, make sure they get their copies, she always goes above and beyond doing that.
I did have to prove myself a lot. My first day, they actually thought I was a student, so it was definitely challenging, but they kind of realized that I was more mature than a normal 18-year-old starting here, and that I wasn't here just to play around. I was here for the long run.
In addition to all of that, Hosey's going to school to be a special needs teacher and is already helping out in the classroom.
She, a lot of afternoons, will come back and help in our ESE physically impaired classroom. She took it upon herself to start learning Braille with the visually impaired students that are in there.
My dad had actually been blind when I was 10 years old. And he had started teaching me Braille. And I never really caught on to that's what I wanted to do until I started working here. And I got to be around the kids, and I realized that that was my ultimate goal. That seeing a child succeed in learning the Braille was phenomenal. Even though my dad was blind, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. And I knew I wanted to work with ESE, but I wanted to find my passion. And when I stepped in there, I knew that's where I wanted to be.
So she's a receptionist, nurse, assistant in the visually impaired classroom, and about a half dozen other things. And when Superintendent George Tommen walked in with balloons to surprise her as a finalist, she nearly turned into a bouncer.
I'd never met him before, so we don't allow balloons on campus, so I was thinking, I have to tell this man to take these balloons away.
Do not be surprised if the superintendent brings her balloons again in the next few years, honoring her as our next Teacher of the Year. Well, speaking of the superintendent, here are his thoughts for this month.
Having the opportunity to serve Marion County as a superintendent of schools is an absolutely fantastic thing for me each and every day. I get to work with fantastic people, and I get to see fantastic students at work. And especially during the month of March, I get to recognize many of these fantastic teachers that work each and every day with our great students, helping to build them into wonderful students who can go on and accomplish many things in our community. This particular television show this month focuses on our Golden Apple event and our recognition of our Teachers of the Year. Just last month, at the end of February, we had the opportunity to recognize our Rookie Teachers of the Year from each school and our Teachers of the Year from each school. Through a very detailed process of filling out applications, writing portfolios, and then having themselves actually observed by citizens in our community, 5 Golden Apple teachers were selected, and 1 Rookie Teacher of the Year representing the entire county was selected. These 6 individuals then were able to wow us with some wonderful speeches and some wonderful inspirational comments that they made in reference to the job that they get to do as teachers here in Marion County. That's what makes this a great job for me, because not only did I get to attend this fantastic event, but I got to go to work the next Monday and then all the next week and then all this month of March, hand in hand with our fantastic instructional units and our fantastic teachers. Hats off to them. This has been a tough year for all of our teachers. We are undergoing a great deal of change in Marion County Public Schools and in the state of Florida, and our teachers are answering that challenge with wonderful pride and wonderful attempts to do great things for our students. It's great to be the superintendent of Marion County Public Schools, and it's great to work with these fantastic people.
Thank you, Mr. Tommen, and thank you for joining us today. As always, remember, be there for your child every day.